And there have been some people reacting to this. There are a bunch of celebrities online right now who are expressing things all over the place. So
this is Diddy. Like at a Diddy party, he's always gonna be turning up.
No face, no name, his voice distorted out of fear of retaliation over this.
If y'all not at Diddy's house, y'all not nowhere.
Tells us and shows us several elaborate parties thrown by music mogul P Diddy at his homes in LA and Miami Beach.
There's a saying, when the devil ignores you, then you know you're doing something wrong. Wait a minute, I'm not done now. You know, the devil goes, oh no, leave him alone. Hey, he's my favorite.
Diddy, you're hearing Diddy everywhere, okay?
Yeah.
So,
how could you be surprised with anything?
You think he's being targeted, or some of the stuff he's got, you know, there's credibility on what they're coming after him with the tapes and the feds and raiding his Miami home, his LA home?
That in every culture, you hear and may know what I hear, which is, people aren't coming out because they either suspected this about him or they don't want to have any connection to him. And then I guess there's another group who's worried they're going to get pulled in, which is one of the suggestions from prosecutors.
Y'all, the perv is finally behind bars. Months after the FBI raided Diddy's LA and Miami homes, the disgraced rapper has been slapped with some serious charges. Sex trafficking, racketeering, the whole mess. And you already know Hollywood has a lot to say about it. Celebs are out here reacting faster than Diddy can say not guilty. And let me tell you, they're not holding back. Look, this ain't just any arrest. This is P Diddy we're talking about. The guy who's been running the music scene for decades is now facing accusations that include freaky sex performances and days-long parties that'll make you question everything.
But he was bragging about this for, what, a couple of decades. Watch.
This is what you need to do. Women, beautiful women. We need alcohols.
Right.
Alcohols.
Right. Not just one alcohol.
Alcohols.
Right, just different blend. You need the ladies, you need the booze. Right.
Gotta keep them there.
Right.
You need locks on the doors.
Okay, this is sounding kind of dangerous now.
It's a little kinky, but
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And with the stars reacting left and right, it's like they've been waiting for this moment. According to the indictment, Diddy's so-called freak-offs were straight out of a horror story. Sex workers, narcotics, and recording everything. It got celebs talking, and some are seriously disturbed by the details. And of course, the celebrity reactions aren't just about the charges. There are some folks defending Diddy, others spilling tea about their experiences with him, and a few dropping hints about things that never made the headlines. This case is just getting started, and the drama around it is wild. Now, for those of y'all out of the loop, let me run it back for you. But be warned, cause this stuff is disgusting. So, Mr. Can't Stop Won't Stop himself, Sean Diddy Combs, is in some serious hot water. The music mogul was just ordered, held without bail, on charges that would make any rapper rethink their lyrics. We're talking sex trafficking, racketeering conspiracy, and transporting people for prostitution. Yeah, not exactly the glow-up we're used to from Diddy. Diddy walked into a New York courtroom and pleaded not guilty to all charges. His lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, is out here saying Diddy's ready to clear his name. He's been waiting for this day, Agnifilo said. Really? I don't know anyone looking forward to a federal indictment, but hey, let's roll with it.
So we made a bail appeal to Judge Carter. It did not go our way. The fight continues. We're not giving up by a long shot. I told Mr. Combs I'm going to try and get his case to trial as quickly as possible. I'm going to try and minimize the amount of time he spends in very, very difficult and I believe inhumane housing conditions in the special housing unit of the Metropolitan Detention Facility. And I'm going to do everything that I can to move his case as quickly as possible. I understand that the government has a great amount of electronic devices that they have to download and provide to me. But everything's on the government's timetable, nothing's on the defendant's timetable, and they're going to have to accommodate me and him and give us a quick trial, and I'm going to be pushing for that.
Now, what's really wild is that the feds are accusing Diddy of some seriously dark stuff, like running a whole operation that allegedly involves sex trafficking, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and more. This ain't no bad boy reunion tour. This is a full-blown criminal enterprise. Since 2008, Diddy has allegedly been involved in orchestrating some pretty nasty stuff to maintain control and protect his reputation. And don't forget the freak-offs. Yeah, that's what the indictment calls it. Highly organized freak-offs. Diddy. Really? You couldn't come up with a better name?
Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs. And he often electronically recorded them.
The feds are also saying Diddy manipulated women by controlling their careers, supplying them with drugs, and keeping tabs on them 24/7. And when things got messy, well, Diddy allegedly had his ways of keeping people quiet. Intimidation, guns, bribes, you name it.
The Roc Nation employee was running around passing some stuff out. He told everybody it was Molly, but it wasn't Molly. Because it literally wiped their short-term memory for anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes at a time. Those girls had been assaulted and couldn't even remember it because by the time the assault was over and the guy walked off of them, their memory was gone. I sat there in the emergency room watching that girl talk to the same doctor over and over again and not recognizing him after she had just talked to him 15, 20 minutes before. Yeah, I gotta find that post. Because that was a Jay-Z event. And 200 girls were given that poison. And 20 of them had been assaulted. I couldn't even remember it.
And let's not forget about the incident caught on tape back in 2016 with Cassie. Yes, the Me and You singer. That footage shows Diddy assaulting her in a hotel hallway. He's since apologized, calling his actions inexcusable. But the feds aren't letting that slide. They say Diddy even tried to bribe hotel staff to keep quiet about what went down. Now, his legal team is out here saying Diddy's just a music icon and a loving family man, typical lawyer stuff. But according to the U.S. attorney, this case is just getting started, and they're not ruling out more charges or more people getting dragged into this. What's next? Well, Diddy could be looking at decades behind bars if convicted. But knowing how these things usually go, there's a chance this won't even make it to trial. Now, while I can't tell you exactly how this will play out in court, what I can tell you is how Hollywood is reacting. And trust me, it's wild. Celebrities are taking sides, and the whispers in the industry are louder than ever. As soon as news about Diddy's arrest started making the rounds, you already knew Black Twitter was going to have something to say. And honey, they did not disappoint. But it wasn't just the everyday users getting their jokes in. Some of the biggest names in hip-hop and entertainment had thoughts on the matter too. And the king of petty drama, 50 Cent, was the first to throw shade. You might have thought 50 had his notifications set for any time Diddy's name popped up in a scandal, because he came for him quick. 50 took to Twitter, or X as Elon Musk wants us to call it now, whatever, to clown Diddy's alleged freak-offs. According to the indictment, over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lube were found during the raids of Diddy's homes. Yes, you read that right. So, what does 50 do? He hits us with the punchline. Here I am, keeping good company with Drew Barrymore, and I don't have 1,000 bottles of lube at the house. Ouch! But honestly, it's a savage way to start the roasting session. Then you had Jonta Austin jumping in, adding to the fire, joking that the great baby oil shortage of LA has finally been solved. I mean, if nothing else, at least Twitter's having fun with this mess. Meanwhile, Charlemagne the God took a different route on The Breakfast Club. He tried to toe the line between cracking jokes and keeping it real. On air, he went on about how if Diddy gets hit with racketeering and sex trafficking charges, it's not going to stop with just him. According to Charlemagne, anyone who was at these so-called freak-offs should be nervous. In his words, if you've ever been butt naked with Diddy and there were some women or men around, you might be going to jail.
Yeah, racketeering and sex trafficking. If he gets racketeering and sex trafficking for freak-offs, it will be others involved. Yes. Like if you ever ran a train with Diddy, you're probably going to jail.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people were saying, that, you know, that's possibly on those cameras because he had cameras in the crib. So people are thinking that maybe there'll be other people involved.
Honestly, Charlemagne might be onto something, because this whole scandal could be the start of a lot of people getting dragged down. But it's not all laughs and lube jokes. Some are seeing this moment as much more serious. Aubrey O'Day, who you might remember from Danity Kane, has been speaking out for years about her rough experience working with Diddy. Now that he's facing charges, Aubrey hit Twitter with a heartfelt post about how this is a win for women, saying it feels like the justice system is finally working for victims like her. She's been vocal about how Diddy allegedly tried to buy her silence, even offering her a measly $300 to sign away her rights to tell her story. So, for Aubrey, this moment feels like vindication. And while everyone else was either joking or reflecting, journalist Jamel Hill dropped a much-needed reminder that behind all the humor, there are real victims here. Black women whose lives were wrecked by people like Diddy and R. Kelly. She shut down the narrative of another black man being taken down and emphasized that this isn't about race, it's about justice for the women who were hurt.
Yeah, because one thing, it's so many things to notice about this video. One, she was trying to leave. Two, I don't know what the situation was in this hotel, but he felt empowered enough.
Fans also chimed in on the convocation. One person cheekily commented, "He will fit in just fine in prison. He's gonna love it there." Yikes. The internet is truly undefeated when it comes to cracking jokes, even in the wildest situations. Others were more focused on the severity of the charges, with one user saying, "That must be one hell of a case the FBI has on Diddy," while another added, "Everyone knew he did it. He will only get a year of jail time." But it wasn't just casual fans chiming in. Some people started connecting the dots to old, unsolved mysteries. One follower even threw in a wild theory, hoping Diddy would finally spill the beans on what he knows about the deaths of Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls, saying, well, maybe now he'll be forced to tell what he knows about the Tupac and Biggie murders. It's like the internet is waiting for a full-on conspiracy documentary at this point.
I'm Shauna Kalafi at the Fox 5 Update Desk. A new bombshell in the investigation into who killed Tupac here in Vegas in 1996. The only man currently facing murder charges in the case, Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, claims that Sean Combs, also known as Diddy, paid for a hit on Tupac.
Of course, the reactions weren't all just jokes. There were plenty of people acknowledging Diddy's fall from grace, especially after TMZ reminded everyone about his 2016 assault on Cassie, which resurfaced in video form earlier this year. It's a stark reminder that his troubles with the law aren't exactly new. As U.S. Attorney Damian Williams said, Diddy was apprehended following a sealed indictment, marking the culmination of an investigation that's been brewing for months. The timing couldn't be more dramatic. This arrest comes less than 6 months after federal authorities raided Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami, and just 2 months after he settled a lawsuit from Cassie, who accused him of sex trafficking and abuse. The leaked video showing him assaulting Cassie back in 2016 didn't help his case either, with fans pointing out that despite his public apology for hitting rock bottom, the truth seems to keep catching up with him. It's wild to think that Diddy, who once dominated the music scene and became a staple in Hollywood and the Hamptons, is now facing these kinds of serious charges. But as much as some fans are throwing jokes into the mix, there's no escaping the gravity of this situation. People are wondering how this will impact not just his legacy, but the entire industry. One fan put it bluntly, he might be a terrible person, but he has so many catchy songs, which is what really matters. And while the comment drips with sarcasm, it does reflect a bigger question. How will this all affect his long-standing influence on music and culture? New York Assembly member Brian Cunningham is out here hoping that Diddy's federal charges will give his proposed law, Cassie's Law, the boost it needs to make waves in Albany. And yes, the law is named after none other than Cassie Ventura, the ex-girlfriend who brought forth some damning allegations against Diddy, and who was also seen in that infamous security footage from 2016. So, what's Cassie's law all about? Basically, Cunningham was inspired by the fact that this footage, which captured Diddy's assault on Cassie, didn't surface until years after the statute of limitations had run out. Like, can you believe it? Diddy might have faced legal consequences back then if the hotel hadn't done what everyone's now calling evidence suppression. Cunningham's bill would make it so people can sue anyone who bribes others to hide, destroy, or tamper with evidence that could hold powerful folks accountable. Because let's face it, money and influence too often make justice disappear faster than Diddy at an awards show. Cunningham's not alone in pushing this bill forward either. State Senator Julia Salazar slid into his DMs. Okay, technically, she texted, asking to co-sponsor the bill, saying who was the Senate sponsor, because it's about time we see some accountability. And listen, for a lawmaker who came up during the Diddy-dominant 90s, Cunningham seems more disappointed than surprised by Diddy's ongoing fall from grace. He admitted to being a fan of Diddy back in the day, but this new wave of charges is making it easier to leave the fanboy days behind. Plus, it's probably hard to drop "I'll be missing you" in the car after hearing all this. Alright, so what's next for Diddy? Well, at this point, the man who brought us hits like Bad Boy for Life might be looking at some serious time behind bars depending on how this trial shakes out. With racketeering, sex trafficking, and a whole list of other charges hanging over him, Diddy's future isn't looking too bright. And if we know anything about these kinds of high-profile cases, it's that more details and possibly more people could be getting dragged into this mess. His team is fighting back, claiming Diddy is innocent, but the road ahead is looking long and messy. We'll just have to wait and see how this plays out. So, what do you think? Will Diddy manage to beat these charges, or is his time finally up? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're ready for more celebrity drama, because let's be real, this tea isn't cooling down anytime soon, check out our next video on another wild case that's heating up Hollywood. You won't want to miss it.